Welcome back po sa Agri sa Agri. Ngayong episode, bukod sa napakainit, mainit po talaga itong produkto na ating ipapakilala sa inyo. Of course, isang farm din na sila na rin ang nagkaroon ng development or innovation na magkaroon ng added value ang kanilang mga produce. So napaka-importante sa ating mga magsasaka na matutunan na rin ang teknolohiya ng food processing. A better example is ang ating farmer ngayon na sila na rin ang gumawa ng sariling produkto na sila ang nagtanim at ngayon naman ay naisabote ang napakasarap, maanghang, matamis na kanilang habanero spices at habanero product. Kasama natin ang magkapatid na si Martin and Nuria. Mapapa-nosebleed tayo ngayon kasi sila rin manonosebleed, hindi sanay mag-Tagalog. Yeah, so welcome po sa Agri sa Agri, Nuria and Martin.
Salamat po.
And thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and ma-feature natin ang kanilang very unique product. Ano po ba yung inyong produkto?
We grow habanero chilies and out of it we make hot sauce and we make habanero powder.
Nosebleed na ba? Sila ay may dugong Espanyol at syempre Bisaya. Pilipinong-Pilipino, kahit na maputi, matangos ang ilong, brown ang mata. Very handsome and beautiful po ang ating special guest ngayong episode. Syempre, pakinggan po ang very inspiring episode na ito, ang kanilang storya kung paano binibigyan ng paghahalaga ang mga lupang namana. They can choose a very prestigious career but they choose to go back. Huwag po nating sayangin ang ating mga lupa, lalo-lalo na ang mga pamana ng ating mga magulang or ating mga lolo't lola. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I'm Martin Jordana.
And I'm Nuria Jordana.
And we're the co-managers of Granja Jordana, a specialty pepper farm and pepper product producer here in Indang, Cavite, starting with habaneros. We grow 3 types of habaneros here. We have yellow, red, and orange habaneros. And all of these are shipped here from the Netherlands with a company called Rikshuan.
So we make pineapple habanero hot sauce and habanero chili powder and flakes. That's all we have right now. I'm still working on several new products. So this is our pineapple habanero hot sauce. It's called Indang. That's good chili. That's the tagline of our hot sauce. You can use it for anything really. It's really good with Mexican food. It's good with Filipino food. I actually like to use it a little bit in my marinade. For the meat, just put a little bit ng hot sauce and then your meat's gonna be a little spicy kasi may pineapple to. So it helps actually soften the meat. This is our habanero chili powder. It comes in a small container, 15 grams. You can bring it with you anywhere. Granja Jordana means, Granja in Spanish means farm, and Jordana is our family name. That was actually his idea as well, and we all loved it.
We all agreed as a family that, Granja Jordana, it's simple. It means Jordana farm. It touches on our family heritage. Our family actually does have background in farming. We have lost touch through the generations, but by going back to it, we want to fulfill our heritage and culture. We started Granja Jordana in 2021. At the end of 2021, we started it as a farm. And then for all of 2022, we were just a farm selling produce. And then in 2023, that's when we started the R&D of our pepper products with the help of the Department of Agriculture.
May fertilizer para sa early stage.
Our dad is half Spanish, half Filipino. He grew up in Bicol.
And Papa was from Tigaon.
And then our mom, she is from Negros. She also has Spanish-Filipino blood, but she grew up in Baez, Negros.
My dad grew up while Lolo and Lola, they had simple jobs. They had a very simple upbringing.
And they both met in Cebu. I was born, that's where my brothers were born. He was not born there, he was born in Manila. We grew up here in the Philippines. Nagtatagalog naman kami. Mas komportable lang mag-English. Bisaya konti. Kasabot.
Gamay lang kasabot.
Kasabot gamay. Bisaya lahat yung yung mga pinsan namin. Yung parents namin, they speak Bisaya as in fluent. And our dad had a trucking company. He worked with Aboites Trucking, and they had a company called Cox Trucking. And it was actually here. This used to be where all the trucks were and everyone worked here. But now our dad's trucking company is closed down. So we have all this land. We wanted to do something with that. Our dad, he loved hot sauce.
He did, yes.
He loved hot sauce. Like,
Bicolano.
super spicy. Like, he would challenge us to eat chili. Just chili. He was like, I'll give you 500 if you eat this chili. Pag pumupunta kami sa restaurants, tapos gusto niya yung hot sauce, inuuwi niya. So he really liked spicy food. And it makes sense that that's what we're doing now. We're growing peppers and we're selling hot sauce. Would have loved it.
We started this farm after our dad died. So it was kind of a factor to why we chose chilies in the first place. It wasn't just about the money. Of course, high value crop is important, especially if you have a small piece of land. But we also wanted to choose something that we would become passionate about. And big thanks to our dad. When we first started farming back in 2021, this was in the height of the pandemic. There was a lot of uncertainty. So us as a family, we started talking about, we have a lot of free space here in our property in Indang, Cavite. What do we do with it? What else can we do with it? We figured out that, okay, a good use of our space would be in agriculture. So because we don't have knowledge in farming, we figured we would talk to professionals. We wanted to target high-value crops. And because we are targeting high-value crops, we eventually landed with planting habanero chilies. It took a few months of development, and we're doing this in partnership with one of the top hot sauce experts in the country to help with our development. It took a few months of development, but we eventually landed to a spot. That's why we chose pineapple as like a sweet contrast to the habanero spice. For habanero chilies, also through research, we also found that to contrast it with something sweet and fruity would be best, because although habaneros are very spicy, I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost 200,000 Scoville units, which is much spicier than, for example, a labuyo. It's much spicier. Even though it's very spicy, it still has tangy aftertaste. Because of that, it's best to pair with something sweet, with something fruity. During the development, we wanted to keep upping the sweetness because it was very spicy. Maybe the first month of development, it was so spicy, and we kept upping the sugar, upping the sweetness. Eventually landed to a place where there was a good balance of sweet and spicy. Just to give you a better idea, this is what the habanero chilies look like. This is the red one and this is the yellow one. These actually came straight from the freezer. We're lucky that habanero chilies, they're one of the best super hot chilies to freeze. Because early on, we had issues with supply and demand. We had an oversupply, and I'm sure that this is a problem a lot of farmers face. Because of that, we had to buy a freezer. And luckily enough, habanero chilies, through research, it's one of the best to freeze. So this is something to consider for small farmers out there starting out. When you're planting a fruiting crop like a chili or maybe even tomato or any other fruit, it's good to consider those that freeze well to increase the shelf life by months. And that has been extremely important to us. Because of it, we no longer have food waste. We don't waste any chilies that we harvest anymore. As soon as we harvest, it either gets dehydrated to also increase the shelf life and then turn into powder or chili flakes. We also freeze them, and the main purpose for freezing is to eventually turn it into a hot sauce. We have a nursery where we plant the seedlings and we plant them on small trays in an enclosed space. It's all pest-free. From there, it takes a little over a month to make sure the seedlings have its structural integrity to transplant. And once we transplant it into the greenhouse, it takes about, I would say, a month and a half to start harvesting. And when you start harvesting, every single week you'll see harvest. 4 to 6 months is the best fruiting period, but after 6 months it's still fruiting, but you will see a decline in quality. That's why we try to make it a habit every 6 months to recrop. Every 6 months we have to recrop so that we keep seeing beautiful pods like this. We we started the conversation with agriculturists. We needed agriculturists because we are not farmers ourselves. And it came to our realization right away that this is not gonna be easy. So we learned the hard way. It's not as easy as I thought this would be. It's not as simple as you build a greenhouse, you plant chilies, 1 month later you have harvest. It's not that simple. But it is a challenge. Now that we have mastered the craft of farming our chilies, it's a place that you should aim for, and it's very, very much worth it. It took us about 1 whole year of figuring it out exactly.
Yeah.
Trial and error. We had so many batches of chilies that were ravaged by whiteflies, by aphids. Not just that, also viruses. We had problems with building our greenhouse, and we had to figure out the right mix of fertilizers and pesticides. Right now, we're using a cocktail of fertilizers and pesticides. We found that adding variety to what you use builds immunity for your crops from viruses and pests. This took a very long time to figure out.
And we tried to do it organically at first.
We did, yeah.
But we then realized, it wasn't really possible in this climate. There was too many pests.
You should consider this when growing because we import our seeds from the Netherlands, and they are native to Africa, which is also hot, but it's a dry heat. It's not humid like here in the Philippines. Because of that, our peppers became like a hot spot for pests. And as we did try organic, like Nuria said, we eventually had to shift to incorporating FDA-approved chemical pesticides.
And to just be clear, we wash all the peppers once it's been harvested. We wash them with baking soda and water thoroughly so that the pesticide is removed before processing.
Every step of the way, we were consulted by an expert agriculturist who's been in the industry for over 30 years. With his help, we tried organic, but he told us, look, this is not feasible, not for habaneros, because of, like Nuria said, because of the climate. We also wanted, with his help, we emphasized that we need to be mindful of the cleanliness. We want to make sure our products are clean, used well in our product development, and also to those who use our chilies themselves. So back in 2022, we joined the Young Farmers. We applied to the Young Farmers Challenge. It was a long application. It wasn't easy. And then we eventually won as a regional awardee. We were proudly the first ever Young Farmers Challenge to win from Indang, Cavite. So we wanted to keep that as part of our brand identity. Actually, I would have to credit the product development to the Department of Agriculture. And through that, it was actually the Department of Agriculture who told us, look, if you want to make a good profit margin, rather than just fresh produce, do high-value crop and then do processing. Make your own product. If you stick to just fresh produce with a small area, and you're sticking with the market value of your crop, the profit margin is not very high. The DA saw our numbers and they told us, look, if you want to reach the ideal profit margin, which is around 70%, 80%, I think they advised that 60% is acceptable, but ideally 70 to 80% profit margin, you need to do processing. So that's when we started. I have a marketing background.
So I graduated culinary, but I didn't end up pursuing it. I got into film production. I work in the art department. I'm a freelance set decorator and fashion stylist. But now that I'm in my 30s, my brother put this farm up. It was an opportunity for me to help out and use my culinary degree and help him out with our products and try to develop more tasty, spicy food.
I still work in an office, and I understand the typical 9 to 5, almost 3-hour commute to Las Piñas almost every single day. It's so common for young professionals to burn out. To those who are experiencing something similar, I highly recommend you take up a hobby that involves nature. And hopefully that hobby, if you do pursue farming, hopefully it blossoms into something beautiful and something you can rely on income-wise in the future. Even before this was a farm, we've been going here our whole lives and since we were kids. So this is a place we know and we love very, very much. At first, it's quite cost effective to do it yourself. At the very, very beginning of our hot sauce R&D, we did it ourselves. But through research and constantly making new batches, we found that this is not something, I'm no culinary expert. I don't know much about food safety. It's much better to outsource this to a professional. So that's exactly what we did. Make sure he or she has been in the industry for X amount of years. Do your research. It's very important. There are some products you can do yourselves. For example, even without Nuria, we started doing the habanero powder because it was as simple as drying the habaneros and then grinding them to put them in a jar. That is simple enough. As long as we kept an eye on sanitation, it was all done very simply. But hot sauce is a different story. We wanted to avoid the issues of harming our customers. We wanted to do it properly. Our dream here is we want to add more variety and we want to add more local flavors to the normal grocery shelves. We want to be alongside the Tabascos and the Srirachas as Granja Jordana, featuring locally grown peppers. Part of the reason why we started, when we were first conceptualizing making hot sauce in the first place, we wanted to offer something unique to the market. I'm not claiming that we are the first habanero chili hot sauce in the market, but we wanted to be the first where we commercially grow and produce our own chili sauce. Because of that, we're proudly one of the more unique flavors in the market. We eventually want to develop products that has more variety. For example, hot sauce that has levels. We want to make a mild one, a spicy one, an extra spicy one.
Yeah.
So right now, I would say we're at the spicy level. We don't have a mild one or a very spicy one yet, but
Yes.
stay tuned. That's something we're gonna have very soon.
Yes, we need that because when we would join fairs and sell our products there, and we would have free testing, most Pinoys find it too spicy. We notice the ones who really buy it are like foreigners, usually daring Pinoys.
It really depends on your taste. For example, fellow Bicolanos, no problem. Sanay na sila dito. There is a regional chili there that's not labuyo. Siling demonyo. Yun uso dun sa Bicol. Because of that, habanero chilies is no problem for Bicolanos or any region of the Philippines where spicy food is common. We want to flex the Philippine-grown and made. Not just Philippine-made, but Philippine-grown products. And it's not limited to just our habanero chilies. When making this, we also incorporate locally grown everything, locally made everything. We want to make sure we support local. So we encourage our buyers to also do the same. Even if my dad found some success, he always taught us the value of growing up simple and being humble and being able to connect with everybody. Everyone is your equal. Up until now, all of us siblings, we very much appreciate them teaching us that trait, humility. In an industry like agriculture, regardless of your background, it's very important that you express that. You have to be able to talk to anyone. You always have to be humble because you have to realize you can learn from everybody. And up until this point in our journey of farming, we have learned so much from people of so many backgrounds. I believe it's so important to pursue farming if you have that opportunity, even if, especially to young farmers. We need more young farmers. And that's part of the agenda we are pushing at Granja Jordana. If you don't have a background in farming, if you don't know where to start, it can be very, very intimidating. But I say try it anyway, even just as a hobby at first, because not only is it good for the future of our economy, it's part of our culture and always should be a key piece to the Philippine economy. And we want to lead by example for people of all backgrounds to take up farming.
As an example, we would like to show people that if you do have land to spare that was given to you or you inherited it, consider farming and, support local.
We want to use it even more. Of course, now we're using it for the actual farm, but we do have a lot of future plans to incorporate the land and make it even more beautiful, and to incorporate the business into merging the use of the land to our business and vice versa. Well, we have plans of building our own FDA-approved commissary. We also want to incorporate agritourism. Near our farm, we want to build some cabins, some small cabins, so that you can book, for example, through Airbnb to add some added income aside from our farming, aside from our products. And also to, of course, build awareness around farming. We want to show the day in the life of a habanero chili farmer, and then what it looks like eventually. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And stay tuned. We have a lot of goals in mind for the future. Right now, we're only available online, so you can message us on Facebook or Instagram at Granja Jordana. You can also visit our website, granjajordanapeppers.prosperna.com.
We're very happy to announce that our Granja Jordana products will be available for you guys on the agrisaagri.store website and the Agri sa Agri mobile app coming soon.
Napakagaling mag-Ingles, so they will try to speak in Bisaya. So maybe you can greet our viewers.
Kasabot gamay.
Oo.
Gamay lang.
Gamay lang daw.
Gamay lang. Tagalog kami.
Marunong kami mag-Tagalog, pero
Parang kayo.
kami naman yung nagna-nosebleed.
Yeah. Agree ba kayo sa Agri?
Yes. Agri sa Agri.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.